Your journey into the world of great stories begins now. Welcome to the English Audiobook Library.
I was just thinking before we hit record, the weather today is exactly the kind of weather that makes you want to cancel every single plan you have and just stare out a window.
It really is. It's that heavy, gray, cozy kind of morning. I actually almost texted you to say, hey, can we just do this from our respective couches?
I would have agreed in a heartbeat, but I am glad we're here in the studio. And welcome back, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or if you're listening to this at 2 a.m. because you can't sleep, we're glad you're here too.
Yes, welcome back to the podcast. Grab your coffee, your tea, or just get comfortable if you're driving. We love that we get to be the background track to your day.
Speaking of background tracks, Molika, I need to address the elephant in the room, or rather the 3 giant cardboard boxes that were sitting outside your apartment when I came to pick you up.
Oh my gosh, stop. We are not doing this on air.
We absolutely are. I thought we talked about this. You said you were on a buying freeze for the apartment.
Okay, in my defense, 2 of those boxes were organizational bins to organize the things I already have. So technically, it's an investment in minimalism.
What? An investment in minimalism? That is the most incredible mental gymnastics I have ever heard in my life. You bought more stuff to hold your stuff.
Listen, the brain is a powerful, deceptive thing. And honestly, Smith, that is exactly why I wanted to talk about our topic today. Because I was breaking down those boxes this morning, and I had this moment of pure, unfiltered honesty with myself. I didn't need those bins.
So why did you buy them?
Because it was Tuesday night, it was raining, I was incredibly stressed about that project deadline we had, and my brain said, hey, buying things feels like productivity. It gives you a little hit of dopamine. Let's go on Amazon.
Wow, yeah, buying things feels like productivity. That's a heavy realization.
It is. And so today, guys, we want to talk about money, but not the math of money. We aren't financial advisors. We aren't here to tell you how to diversify a portfolio or explain what a Roth IRA is.
Thank goodness, because I would put myself to sleep.
Right. We want to talk about the psychology of money, the invisible emotional weight it carries. Because the truth is, nobody actually teaches us how to feel about money or how to manage the habits that secretly drain us.
It's so true. Money is the ultimate taboo. You can ask a friend about the most intimate details of their relationship and they'll tell you. But if you ask them, hey, how much credit card debt do you have? Or how much do you make? The room goes completely dead. We hold so much shame around it.
So much shame, and because we don't talk about it, we all just wander around making these deeply emotional financial decisions in the dark, like me with my retail therapy.
Let's pull on that thread a bit, the retail therapy thing, because I think almost everyone listening has done this. You have a bad day, you buy a coffee you don't need, or a shirt, or organizational bins. What is actually happening in our heads when we do that?
Well, for me, I had to realize that I wasn't buying objects. I was buying a temporary distraction from an uncomfortable feeling. When I was stressed, the act of browsing, selecting, and anticipating a package arriving, it gave me something to look forward to. It was a Band-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, the Band-Aid falls off the second the box is actually opened, and then you just have a thing you didn't need, less money in your bank account, and the exact same amount of stress you started with.
Man, that is so real. You're trying to purchase an emotion, and I'm totally guilty of this too, but on a different scale. You know this about me, but I don't think I've ever talked about it on the show. A few years ago, I fell hard into the lifestyle creep trap.
Oh, the car.
The car, exactly. For our listeners who don't know, about 5 years ago, I got my first really big promotion. I was making more money than I ever had, and within 3 months, I went out and leased a luxury car that was so far outside my actual budget, it was comical.
And you loved that car for like a week.
For exactly a week. And then the first payment hit and the premium insurance hit. But here is the vulnerability part. I didn't buy the car because I loved the engineering. I bought it because I felt like an imposter at my new job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was surrounded by older, more successful people, and I felt like a kid playing dress-up. I thought, if I pull up in this car, they'll respect me. The valet will respect me. Strangers at the stoplight will think I'm a winner. I was literally bleeding my bank account dry to rent my own self-esteem.
To rent your own self-esteem. Smith, that breaks my heart a little bit because it's so human. We want so badly to belong, and society tells us that the entry fee for belonging is looking wealthy.
Exactly. Looking wealthy versus actually being wealthy. They are two completely different things. Once I realized that the people I was trying to impress literally did not care about me, the illusion shattered. I got rid of the car, took a huge financial hit to break the lease, and drove a beat-up Honda for 3 years.
But how did you feel driving the Honda?
Free. Unbelievably free. Because I wasn't pretending anymore. And that brings us to the actual habits. Because once you strip away the emotional spending and the ego spending, you have to replace it with something solid.
Right. You have to build guardrails. And I want to share a habit that completely changed my life when it comes to those impulse buys, those late-night Amazon binges.
Let's hear it, because I know the listeners are taking notes right now.
It's called the 72-hour rule. It is beautifully simple, but it is brutally hard to actually do at first.
Okay, how does it work?
If I want to buy anything that is not a strict, absolute necessity, so not groceries, not gas, not a medical bill, I am not allowed to buy it in that moment. I can put it in my online cart, I can take a picture of it in the store, but I have to physically walk away and wait 72 hours, 3 full days.
That requires so much discipline. What happens during those 3 days?
The emotion wears off. That's the magic of it. If I'm buying something just to soothe my anxiety, 72 hours later, the anxiety has usually passed, and I look at the item in my cart and think, why on earth did I want a $40 candle that smells like a campfire?
Campfire candles are highly overrated.
They make your house smell like a disaster. But it's true, I'd say 90% of the time, I don't buy the thing. But if 72 hours pass and I still genuinely want it, and I know I can afford it, I buy it completely guilt-free, because I know it's a rational choice, not an emotional reaction.
I love that. It builds a buffer between your feelings and your wallet. You know, that 72-hour rule, it really does just build a buffer between your feelings and your wallet. It forces you to be an adult for 3 seconds instead of a toddler in a toy store.
Exactly. A toddler with a credit card. It's a terrifying combination. But it brings up a really good question, which is, okay, if we are stopping the emotional spending and we are breaking the lifestyle creep habit, what should we be spending our money on? If money is a tool, how do we actually use it to make our lives better?
I love this pivot because frugality for the sake of frugality is just another kind of prison. If you have money in the bank, but you're miserable, you aren't winning.
Right. And this was a massive paradigm shift for me. About 2 years ago, I realized that the ultimate luxury isn't a designer bag or a fancy car. The ultimate luxury is using money to buy time.
Say more about that. How did you actually implement that?
So I used to spend my entire Sunday morning, literally 3 to 4 hours, doing deep cleaning around my apartment, scrubbing the baseboards, the bathroom, vacuuming everything, and I hated it. I dreaded Sundays. I would wake up already exhausted because I knew what I had to do.
And Sunday is supposed to be the day you recover.
Exactly. But I grew up in a household where you did your own chores. Paying someone else to clean your house was considered, I don't know, lazy or elitist. But I looked at my budget after I stopped buying so much random stuff online, and I realized I had some margin. So I hired a local cleaner to come in just twice a month for 2 hours.
And what was the emotional return on that investment?
Shh, Smith. It changed my entire life, and I am not exaggerating. I wasn't paying for a clean floor. I was buying back my Sunday morning. I was buying back my peace of mind. I started using those 3 hours to read on the balcony, to go for a long walk, to actually rest.
You bought back your peace of mind.
I did. And the guilt vanished the second I woke up on a Sunday in a clean house and realized I could just drink my coffee and breathe. If you have a little bit of extra money, the best habit you can build is looking at your life and asking, how can I spend this to remove a chronic stressor?
That is so profound, because society pushes us to buy additions, add a new watch, add a new TV, but the real wealth is subtraction, subtracting stress, subtracting obligations.
Subtracting obligations, yes.
It reminds me of a trip I took a few years back. It wasn't an expensive trip, just a cheap flight to a cabin in the mountains with 3 of my closest friends. We split the cost, bought cheap groceries, and just sat around a fire pit talking for 4 days. The entire weekend probably cost me a few $100.
Sounds perfect.
It was. And I look back on that weekend and the memory dividend, the amount of joy I still get from remembering those conversations, the inside jokes we still tell, it's immeasurable. Meanwhile, I cannot tell you a single thing I bought on Amazon that same year. Not one.
The memory dividend. That's a great term.
Right? Money spent on connection, on experiences, on buying back your time, that actually yields a return. Money spent on trying to impress people you don't even like is just burning cash in the backyard.
It's so true. And, as we wrap this up today, I really hope that for everyone listening, this conversation takes a little bit of the weight off your shoulders.
Me too. Money can be such a heavy, dark cloud, but when you drag it out into the light and you look at your own habits with a little bit of grace and honesty, it loses its power over you.
Exactly. You stop letting your money dictate your anxiety and you start telling your money where to go. You start using it to build a life that actually feels good on the inside, not just one that looks good on the outside.
Well said. I think that is the perfect place to land the plane for today.
I think so too. To everyone who hung out with us today, whether you're finishing up your commute, doing the dishes, or just lounging on the couch, thank you, truly thank you for letting us into your space and sharing your time with us. It means the world.
It really does. We hope you walk away today feeling a little more empowered. Try the 72-hour rule this week, or look at your budget and see if you can buy back just 1 hour of your time. See how it feels.
And hey, if this episode gave you a light bulb moment, or if you just enjoyed the conversation, please hit that subscribe button. It is the absolute best way to support the show, so we can keep having these deep dives with you.
And drop a comment down below. We want to hear from you. Tell us your worst impulse buy. Make Molika feel better about the organizational bins.
Please, validate my bins.
Or tell us about an experience you spent money on that paid out massive memory dividends. We read every single comment.
Have a beautiful, restful week, everyone. Be kind to yourselves, be intentional with your energy, and we will catch you right back here in the next episode.
See you next time, guys.